Hey, Hakase here. This is my list of the most rippy boss and mob abilities in Act 1 for you to watch out for on your hardcore or softcore journey. You can use the chapters to skip to a specific boss if you're interested in just one or a couple of them. Just as a disclaimer, I'm not gonna cover the abilities that are obvious, I'm just gonna cover ones that can catch you out and really kill your character. Let's get started. So first up is Asinia. She places this bone cage on the ground, and I always used to roll through it, but they were supposed to fix your ability to roll through these bone cages, so just be ready that you might have to destroy it to get out. Now Draven is not generally a difficult boss, but he can do his frontal bone projectile ability back to back, so you want to make sure that you're not too close. If you're in front of him, don't be too close, and make sure you dodge at least one of those. Next up is Lachlann, and this boss can be really dangerous or really simple, depending how you approach it. I usually just kite it around, and sometimes he slows you. If he does slow you and you're not able to kite him, then make sure to stand on his side and not in front or behind him, as he can do these slams that can one-shot you. When he launches this ghost hand from the ground, don't try to roll when it comes out of the ground, just be ready to roll when it comes back down. If you roll when it comes out, you won't be able to roll when it comes back down, and that will slow and hit you pretty hard. Otherwise, just like all bosses with huge physical frontal slams, I suggest that you keep him in sight so that you know when the big slam is coming and you can dodge roll it. Next up is Crowbell. Now this is another boss with a huge physical hit, so just take it slow, take it easy, and dodge his huge bell slam. Generally just prioritize staying behind him and lose DPS if you have to. So next up we have Praetor and the King in the Mists. This whole area is a little bit dangerous, and it's an optional boss. It does give you spirit, so it's quite important, but I still suggest to keep it for later, maybe after you killed the last boss of the first act. The boss does a lot of chaos damage that can really destroy your character, but the most important things to watch out for are this red debuff you get. When you get a red circle around you, that means you cannot move much. So you can move a bit, or maybe do like 2 dodge rolls, and you have to stop moving, otherwise you're gonna get caged and probably hit by some other abilities. But the most dangerous thing he does, in my opinion, is summon these totems. Now, if these totems stay up, they're eventually gonna explode for chaos damage, and it's gonna be a platform-wide damage. I actually lost 2 characters to this because he spawned a few of these totems and I didn't notice them, and they all went off at the same time and killed me. Make sure to keep him in sight and kill those totems as soon as they spawn. Next up we have the Executioner, and he has 2 really dangerous abilities. The first one is the Guillotine, and the second one is when he lifts his axe up into the air and then slams the ground and creates a huge fiery circle. In general, you want to keep a medium distance from the boss so that you can outrange these abilities, but also not too far so that you can see them coming. When he stops moving, this pretty much means that one of those abilities is coming and you should be ready to dodge it or outrange it in case of the overhead slam. The Manor is the first time that I would say we encounter mobs that are quite dangerous and can catch you out. The ones that I would like to highlight here are the mobs that shoot this barrage of frontal projectiles and also a frontal laser. They can really catch you off guard, so be careful. On the first floor of the Manor you'll come up to Candlemass. This boss is not really dangerous. It has a frontal ability which has a bit of a weird timing. The only dangerous ability here really is when he does this barrage of fire missiles, and you want to generally stand behind him for that, but just be aware that he can also fire them backwards, so just keep moving and rolling if that happens. Okay, time for the last boss of Act 1, Count Geonor. This boss fight can be a bit long depending on your damage, so you generally want to keep your cool and whittle him down. The biggest asset I can suggest is getting frost resistance. This will help you out massively. Like most bosses, try to not be in front of him, and the only ability that you really should worry about are these beams of ice that come crashing down. When this happens, just don't try to damage him. Make sure you dodge those because they can kill you, especially when he's at low health and they do more damage and they become kind of red. And now that we're done with Act 1, you can go and check out the similar video I made for Act 2. See you there.